last summer. Just me and my car, hopping from city to city. One night, after a long 12-hour stretch on the road, I pulled into a small town off the interstate. I was too tired to keep going. I found a roadside motel. Neon sign flickering. You know the type. It looked old, but not dangerous, just tired. The man at the front desk gave me a key to room 103 without asking for much. Cash only, no ID. Should have been a red flag, but I was exhausted. The room smelled like old air freshener and cheap bleach. Wallpaper peeling in corners, curtains stiff with age. The bed was stiff too, but again I didn't care. I turned on the TV for background noise, but most of the channels were static. Whatever. I shut it off, locked the door and crashed. But around 1 a.m. I woke up. Not to sound, to silence. A weird kind of silence, like the room was holding its breath. Then a soft click, like a door unlatching. I froze. I listened. There were footsteps, slow, dragging. They stopped right outside my door. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. Then came a soft knock. Not loud, just deliberate. 3 knocks. Pause. Then again. I didn't move. Who knocks at a motel door at 1 a.m.? Eventually the footsteps walked away. But I didn't fall asleep again. At some point I must have dozed off, because I woke up just after sunrise. I packed up fast and went to check out. But the front office was empty. No one around. As I walked to my car, I passed room 104, the one right next to mine. The door was cracked open. I don't know why I looked inside. Maybe just curiosity. The room was completely empty. No bed, no furniture. Just stained carpet and a bucket in the corner. But the weirdest thing, on the wall near the adjoining door, the one that connects to my room, there were tiny holes, like peepholes, pointed straight toward where my bed would have been. I got in my car and drove out of that town without even stopping for gas. Later, I tried to look up the motel online. No website, no Google reviews. It wasn't even listed on maps anymore. Just a blank lot on satellite view, like it had never existed. I don't know who knocked on my door. I don't know who watched me sleep, but I know I'll never stay at a no-name motel again, no matter how tired I am. It was the last leg of my road trip through the Southwest. I was headed back home after visiting my sister in California. Around 10:30 p.m., my check engine light came on and my GPS signal dropped. I pulled off at the next exit. All I found was a gas station, closed for the night, and a small roadside motel behind it. It looked like it hadn't been updated since the 80s, but I didn't care. I was tired and stranded. The guy at the front desk was off. Not rude, just vacant. Like he was tired of people, he gave me a room key without a word, room 7. As I turned to leave, I noticed someone standing just outside the motel lobby, smoking. Tall guy, hood pulled low, just staring. Room 7 was musty. The kind of musty that doesn't come from a day without cleaning, the kind that lives in the walls. I double-locked the door, pulled the curtains tight, and turned on the AC unit to drown out the silence. After a shower, I flopped on the bed and scrolled through my phone. No signal. Of course. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Right outside my window, slow, then stopping. I froze. Then came a knock. Soft, hesitant. I didn't answer. After a few seconds, they walked away. But here's the thing. The window in room 7 faces the back of the motel. There's no reason for anyone to be back there. The next morning, I went to the office to check on a mechanic nearby. While I was there, I casually asked if room 6, the one next to mine, was booked last night. The guy behind the desk blinked like he had to remember. Then he said, "No, 6 has been empty a while now. Broken plumbing." But last night, around 2 a.m., I swear I heard movement in that room. I heard coughing and something like a drawer opening. I didn't say anything, just nodded and left. I walked past room 6. The blinds were closed, but I could feel eyes on me. Back in my room, I packed up. As I picked up my backpack from under the desk, I noticed something odd. There was a small black dot under the TV stand, a pinhole. I got down on my knees to look closer. It was a tiny camera lens. It was pointed straight at the bed. I suddenly felt sick. I looked around the room. The alarm clock didn't look right either. I yanked it out. There was another tiny lens inside. I grabbed my things and walked straight out. But just as I passed room 6, the door opened. just a crack. And someone whispered, "Did you sleep well?" I didn't respond. I ran to my car and left that place in the dust. A few hours later, I stopped at a diner in a bigger town. I told the waitress what happened and asked if she knew about the motel. She paused, said there used to be a motel by that name, but it shut down 2 years ago. I showed her a photo I took of the sign before I left. She looked disturbed. "That's the place," she said, "but it's been boarded up. You're telling me you stayed there last night?" I didn't know what to say. I checked my phone later. All the photos I took of the room were gone. Only one photo remained, a blurry shot I didn't remember taking, standing outside room 6. And just behind the curtain, a face, watching. Next time I'm stranded on the road, I'll sleep in my car. At least then I know who's watching me. This happened a year ago. I was driving cross-country for work, heading to Chicago from Arizona. I got tired around midnight and realized I wasn't going to make it to the next city. I took a random exit off the highway into this sleepy, empty town I hadn't heard of. There was one gas station, one diner, and a tiny U-shaped motel with flickering yellow lights. The parking lot had just 2 cars. I figured, why not, one night? I walked into the front office, bell on the desk, no one there. Then a man came out from the back room, maybe in his 50s. Polite, but overly friendly. Kept smiling without blinking much. He handed me the key to room 12 and said, "You'll like this one. It's quiet. End of the row. Good view." I nodded, but something about how he said it made me pause. It wasn't a suggestion. It was like an inside joke I wasn't in on. Room 12 was all the way at the end. The hallway smelled like old carpet and something sweet, like air freshener trying too hard. The room itself looked normal enough. Queen bed, yellow lamps, TV from another decade. But one thing bothered me. There was a mirror on the wall facing the bed, bolted into the wall. Not a regular hotel mirror. It was tall, narrow, and weirdly positioned. Almost too low. I don't know why, but it made me uncomfortable. I laid down but couldn't sleep. There was this buzzing, like a quiet hum behind the walls. Not mechanical, more like white noise, or whispering from the other side of drywall. At one point, I got up and turned the mirror to the side. It wouldn't budge, bolted, solid. I leaned in and noticed 4 tiny holes in the wood frame, camera size. That's when I froze. What if this mirror was 2-way? I took out my flashlight and held it against the glass. Behind the mirror, a room, a dark, narrow, dusty crawl space, and something moved inside. I backed away. I packed my stuff up as quietly as I could. That's when I saw it, a vent near the floor, behind the dresser, slightly open. Inside, a camera lens. That wasn't maintenance work, that was intentional. I grabbed my bag and bolted. I passed the office and through the glass door, I saw the manager. Watching multiple monitors, he saw me, didn't even flinch, just looked up and smiled. I got in my car and floored it. When I hit the freeway, I pulled into the first open rest stop and tried to report it. But here's the weird part. The motel didn't show up on Google. Not a single review, no listing, like it didn't exist. I drove past that same exit again 6 months later. The motel? Gone. Not closed, gone. Like nothing had ever been there. Just a patch of dry grass and a for sale sign. I don't know what was behind that mirror or why room 12 was quiet with a good view. But I've never stayed at a roadside motel since. And I always check the mirrors.